coming from the slogan of our country, it's more fun in the Philippines.
There was a chance I might have just stayed in the Philippines because I can work remote. You work remote.
Hmm.
Why can't I work remote? Hey, welcome to the Offsite Team Member Podcast. I'm here with my good friend April. How are you today?
Been busy? How are you?
We've been busy as well too, and here at Offsite Team Member, we understand the challenges you face by running a DME company. We are here to talk to other business leaders in their quest to find really dependable offsite team members and to help you run your local DME. So, April, we're now on podcast number 7, and I think what a good opportunity for us to just get together and talk about life in the Philippines. I know what it's like to be there because I've
Yes.
been there twice. You've spent your whole life there as well too.
Hmm.
I'd love to know, how is the Philippines different from the United States? And I know that seems a little weird because I mean you've only been here once, but
Yes.
compare, the Philippines to the United States. What's the difference between the two countries?
I would say first and foremost, the weather, because it's a
Mm-hmm.
tropical country in the Philippines, so we don't have the snows and all that. Fall, we only have summer and then the rainy season, I would say, but
Mm-hmm.
mostly summer. So it's always humidity is it's always hot and humid all around the year. But other than that, I would say, coming from the slogan of our country, it's more fun in the Philippines. I would say, I'm
I did
sorry,
not know
but
that was your slogan, but I can totally see why.
yes.
Because I know
Mhm.
when I purposely visit you, I'm visiting you
Mhm.
in January because here in central Washington, it's snowing, it's icy, it's cold, it's dark. And every day I was there in January, I think it was like a high of 78 or 80
Mhm.
degrees, low of 60. It was perfect every single day. So it was awesome. So when you came out to visit us, you saw snow for the very first time in your life.
Yes, yes. It was a dream come true because we don't have that here in the Philippines. So mostly if you have the money, you can go to Japan. That's the nearest that you can get to
Mm-hmm.
experience snow. But if you don't have the money, you just have to embrace the sun. You can go to the mall.
Mm-hmm.
That's the alternative. As you can see, we have a lot of malls in here and there's a lot of people. And
You
the
guys,
reason
I
why
was shocked how much you guys all like to shop. Like everyone
Mhm.
loves shopping in the Philippines.
I think it's the air condition too. So it's not just shopping, it's because we want to take advantage of the AC because it's hot outside. You've
Mm-hmm.
experienced that one. So I think that's one of the things that we enjoy much during the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's. I mean, how do we take a 10 to 20 minute podcast and just talk life in the Philippines? What
Mhm.
I'd like to do first is, I'd like to hear a little bit about education in the Philippines. So,
Mhm.
what we have in the United States is we have elementary school, middle school, high school, and then those that go on to college or
Mhm.
uh, you know some sort of trade. So, how is it set up in the Philippines in terms of school?
I would say it's the same. Before we have a different setup, like there's elementary and then high school and then college, but they change it when a new president has been placed.
Mm-hmm.
They change it from it's called K to 12, so kinder to grade 12, and then after the grade 12, you're gonna have to enter college, and then after college, you can do masters or you can go ahead and straight and work. So that's how it is. But for the
So
most
everyone in
part,
the Philippines goes to
mhm,
K through 12, just like the United
yes,
States.
yes,
Okay.
that is right.
Now, how much? So Tagalog is your native language. How
Yes,
much
Tagalog.
schooling is done in English versus Tagalog?
So most of the subject I would say is in English because in the Philippines we only have like the major ones are Tagalog and then English. But we have a lot, like 176 dialects on top of that, but that depends on which location they live. But basically, like the most general one is Tagalog and English, especially when you are going to school. So from the beginning, you went into kindergarten up to the college, we are using both.
And I thought that was really cool. And one of the
Mhm.
reasons when it was coming down to, where are we going to choose what offsite workers to work with, we were choosing between India and the Philippines. We chose the Philippines because your English is so much better than the Indian companies we were talking to. I'll just put it that way.
Mhm.
Very easy to listen to. Uh, well, let's talk. Let's talk sports. Do you guys have a lot of sports in the Philippines? Middle school, high school. Tell me about what that's like.
Yeah, so basketball is huge in our country. I know that the height isn't that like not everyone is as tall as the one in the United States. Like when I went there, I was like, everyone is really tall in here. But in the
Mm-hmm.
Philippines, no. But then again, basketball is a huge here in our country, and I think it's one of the obsession and it's one of the things that we got when we were colonized by the Americans. I know from history that they're the one who brought up basketball here in our country. So from then
I didn't
on,
know that.
mm, yes.
And you're not as small as you think it is. So, Mark, who produces our podcast, so we're very grateful to Mark. I think Mark's taller than I am, and I'm 6'2".
Yes.
So it's not like everyone is short. I mean, there are quite a few people that are tall.
Mhm.
So shout out to Mark. I'm going to draft him for my Howard's Medical Offsite Team basketball team.
Yes.
So typically, so you have K through 12 school, and then most people go off to college. Tell me about what's college like in the Philippines as well too. Does everyone go off to college? Most people. What does that look like?
It actually depends. So college is like 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be, I mean, it's more expensive than going into elementary and high school since we have this trimesters that we call. So in a year, it could be second, two trimesters or third. So semestrial is what we call them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is expensive, and it's not everyone was able to do that. Like, not everyone is able to finish their college degrees. It I guess it would be coming from the family issues as well, being in an Asian household.
I can see
So
that.
yes, it's one of the problems that we get to encounter growing up.
I'm really surprised though the number of offsite team members that do have either college degrees or up. They might not have finished the degrees, have a bit
Mhm.
of college. I would actually say it's more than our U.S. based side. So, what's typically for every 10 people on our offsite team, how many people do you think have college degrees, no college, a little bit of both? What's kind of the ratio? Do you think?
I would say 5/5. Like half was able to finish college, but I could say that half of them was able to go to college, not finish it, but they were able to go to.
Yeah.
Because the thing in the Philippines is like every family, education is really important. Like this is the only thing that I can pass on to you and to your generation. That's what brought into us when we were young. So you have to make sure you finish, but things happens, life happens.
Well,
So
I see that as well too, because even you have a son, and you pay for your son to go to private school. It's
mhm.
very important for you to make sure that your son has a really good education. Tell me a
Yes.
little bit about being a mom and what it's like, raising a son in the Philippines.
So I tried to make him have fun as much as possible, but at the same time, I wanted him to reach his dreams. He wanted to be a pilot, by the way, so I have to
He
work
told me
hard
that.
for that. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
he told you countless times. He kept saying he's an av geek, so he knows a lot about aviation. And in the Philippines, it's one of the most expensive one. Like if you go to an aviation school in college, you really have to. I mean, I have to start saving. So it's nice that if he'll be able to finish his education. I mean, it's important because it's for
Mm-hmm.
him. It's not for us. We have the what we call when we stop working. So we're gonna get these benefits from the government. So it's only for him. And raising kids in the Philippines, I would say it's good. I would also add it depends on the location that you're at. I'm not saying it's bad in some areas. It's just that there is a right place for me. This is myself. I mean, this is only for me. There is a right place for you to raise a kid. And if you want to have like a smart or good kid, then the place also adds on to that. It's not
I would
just the
say it's the same
people.
as in. I would say it's the same here as in the United States. There's different
Mm,
neighborhoods, and I was
yeah.
really it was really interesting, because we got to drive around and see all of our different offsite team members, and it really varied from neighborhood to
Mm,
neighborhood to neighborhood that we would go to. Let's change the subject to healthcare in the Philippines. So tell me about
mm,
healthcare in the Philippines. Granted, you know U.S. based healthcare because you spend all day
yes.
billing for us.
Mm.
Medicare, Med Advantage plans, Medicaid. So what's healthcare like in the Philippines?
We do have these government hospitals that we can go to for free. But I would say that even in the news or any article, you would see that it's low average when it comes to healthcare, which is why a lot of Filipinos have this American dream because they know that that when they go to America, they can work and at the same time, they'll be taken care of because in the Philippines, if you're not rich, most of the time you'll have to pay privately, as what we call
Hmm.
it in here. So we pay for that. If you don't have the card, the health card, then you're gonna have to pay out of pocket for
Yeah,
everything, the
and
medications.
I was really surprised because we had worked together for a couple of years,
Hmm.
and I did not realize how important health insurance was, or what you call a health card. And you were very blunt with me, like, Eric, we need health care, and we had to kind
Hmm.
of finagle some things. So all offsite team members that work for us, we provide a health card for them. Now,
Hmm.
the health card's different than typical health insurance. Explain to me how that works.
So the health card is one that you can use when you go to a hospital, and then
Hmm.
they will charge that card up to the maximum limit that it's allowed. As compared to health insurance is like having an insurance that you're going to have to pay for 10 years and then getting money out of it. Or
Hmm.
you can use that if you have some terminal illness, you can get reimbursement on that one. So it's
So the
different.
health card is almost like prepaid health, and then once you
Mhm.
have it, and then once you use it, then you use your card, and then you have to get another health card. Is that correct?
That is a prepaid health card. Yes, correct.
We do DME, durable
Mhm.
medical equipment. Is there DME in the Philippines? Tell me about that. You guys have wheelchairs, CPAP machines, nebulizers. What's that look like in the Philippines?
Yes, actually, we have those. So there's this place that everyone is aware. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Bang Bang. That's in Manila. So you can get everything in there: wheelchairs, walkers, hospital beds,
Mm-hmm.
oxygen tanks. However, the difference between the US and then the Philippines is that you're gonna have to pay for it your own.
Yeah.
Like if you
So
need one,
your health insurance does not cover DME.
it does not cover DME.
Fascinating. Huh. Go figure. Okay, so now let's jump to like what you guys like to do in your spare time. And I don't want to overgeneralize things, because that's like asking an American, what do you like to do in your spare time? You could get someone who likes to surf or hike or go shopping. Same thing. But what's a typical weekend look like for someone in the Philippines?
Mostly, I would say is that on Sundays they go to church
Mm-hmm.
because we are a huge Christians who are I'd say it's Catholicism.
Yeah.
So that's number one. And then after
Mm-hmm.
going to church, it depends on your location. Like with myself, where I'm at right now in Cavite, what we usually do is just go near the lake. You've seen Tagaytay. It's near
Mm-hmm.
the lake. Just have coffee and then have lunch with the family. And if you're near the beaches, like one of our team members in Batangas, they usually go out and then swim with the near beaches in them because we are covered with water. So,
You truly do have water
mhm.
everywhere. It's like I love looking at the Facebook or Instagram photos of our team, and they're always having a good time.
Mhm.
And we're doing this, or we're doing that, or we're doing this. Um, One thing that is kind of neat, and it kind of makes sense when you think about it, as well as cost. Motorcycles are really big in the Philippines, aren't they? I swear,
Yes.
like, all the guys especially drive motorcycles. Tell me a little bit about
Mhm.
the motorcycle population, why that's such a big deal.
I think that the reason why it became like boom in the country, because it's not like that before. It isn't the same as the one in Vietnam. Like everyone
Mm-hmm.
is in their motorcycles. In the Philippines right now, it's becoming like Vietnam because of the traffic itself. There's a huge traffic, and when you're in your motorcycle, you can just go wherever way that you want. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so
Yeah,
it's
you get around
easier.
a whole lot
Hmm.
faster on the motorcycle. Yeah, they are
Yes.
absolutely everywhere. The number of motorcycles. I mean, we could talk for ages. What's a question I haven't asked you yet about the Philippines that I should ask you, or that you think our podcast listeners would love to listen to?
I think they the places that they can go because I'm sure that not most that are listening knows about
Mm-hmm.
Philippines, like the Philippines. Oh, there's a country that's called Philippines. It's
Mm-hmm.
just started to get boom, but I wanted them to know that Philippines is a country where you can go a lot of places. We have a lot to offer, like the tourist locations. You can go hiking, swimming, and we also have lots of good foods. So seafoods, name it, we have it, and you're gonna love it. You've tried that one when we went to Palawan, the blue
We tried
marlin
all.
fish.
We tried all. What fish did I eat again?
Blue marlin.
Oh, that was amazing. The Blue Marlin. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was really, the Philippines is very, very affordable. I mean, coming to the States, you saw how much more expensive things are in the States. But I took our leadership offsite team to a 5-star resort. I mean, we're talking really, really nice resort, and we were just paying US dollar a little bit more than $100. I mean, in the United States, you'd be looking at probably $400, $500 a night for that kind of resort. And here we're just spending a little over $100. So the US dollar goes a lot farther in the Philippines. Plus, the weather was just amazing, wasn't it?
Yes.
I mean, there was a chance I might have just stayed in the Philippines because I can work remote. You work remote. Why can't I work remote? So that would have been cool. I want to ask you, so beauty pageants are really big in the Philippines. Tell me about the beauty pageant, whatever you call it, atmosphere, or I was really fascinated by that.
So we love joining the Miss Universe and other pageants as well. But basically, Filipina beauty, I would say, which is what we call it, Filipina for girls. So we have this cool body, and then we also have the brains, I would say, and how we present ourselves, which is why we're into beauty pageants. So beauty and brains is what we have as Filipinas, I would say, which is why it's really big in the Philippines. Like if there's a beauty pageant, it's like watching Manny Pacquiao's do the boxing. There's no cars in the street. Like everyone is just in their TV watching. That's how it is. There's no traffic.
Fascinating. It's all about the beauty pageant.
Yes.
That's really, really interesting. Well, good. I'm sure we will talk more about life in the Philippines, and the reason why it's important to you, just like our life in the States is important to us. And by having offsite team members, you're not just some random biller on the other side of the computer. We do life together.
Right.
We talk about things, and it really is fun. So here at Offsite Team, we take the burden of sourcing, vetting, and interviewing candidates off your shoulders. So, for example, right now we have 3 ready candidates to place on your team. You've been training them. They're all ready to go. So hopefully by the time this podcast drops, they will have already been placed with another company, and then we'll be training the next batch of offsite team members. But until next week's podcast, we're going to talk about paying employees in the Philippines. You know, there is a monetary aspect, so we're going to talk about what that looks like, and things are really different. The United States, as I kind of realized, things are different. So, but that's next week. What this thing called 13th month pay is, and all sorts of 22 different holidays that you guys have is really interesting, but that's next week. So until then, if you guys have any questions about the Offsite Team and how we can help your DME needs, go to offsiteteam.com, and April and I would love to talk to you. Until next week.